Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, June 19th and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Roundtable at seroundtable.com. First up, it looks like we had some type of minor Google update over the past weekend. I called it the Cricket update because really it had a very minor, limited number of people talking about it, but of substantial, the kind of conversation that was being talked about. So it was kind of like little crickets, in the background, people talking about that stuff. And that was like a small, minor update. But on Wednesday, we reported about a pretty significant update that we saw. It wasn't Panda. I didn't believe it was Panda, at least when I reported about it. And there was a lot of people talking about it. The tracking tools went nuts, like crazy spikes and stuff like that. But it wasn't that level. It wasn't that level of, I didn't see that level of communication or chatter in the industry that would actually rationalize the spikes in the actual tools. So I posted some quotes about people and stuff like that. People thought maybe it was a mobile update, maybe Google did maybe it's a pre-Panda update or something like that, but it was not. Google said it wasn't Panda. You can bring that up now. Google said it was not Panda, it was not Penguin, it wasn't HTTPS. I believe the tools themselves went crazy because Wikipedia, which ranks for number in the top 5 results for almost every single keyword on the planet, went ahead and changed from HTTP to HTTPS, which obviously changed the URL, which might have changed all the rankings according to these tools. So I believe that's the issue in terms of the tools. But Google did say, or did imply pretty much, that there was a core search algorithm update similar to the one we saw on May 1st, a couple months ago, but they wouldn't say more about that. Either way, it wasn't Panda, it wasn't Penguin, it wasn't HTTPS, it was probably core search, and Google won't pretty much comment on that. So let's go into Thumbtack. We covered this last time. Thumbtack, which is a Google Capital-backed company, was penalized by Google for unnatural links. Well, less than a week, they were unpenalized. I guess it actually happened, I think last Friday actually, after we did the video, that they actually started ranking again. And the rankings returned. People are all upset. They're saying, hey, why are they returning to the Google search results? It's been less than a week. Most sites that are manually penalized take months and months. But you can see what they did. They actually sent out emails to people saying, please remove your links. Don't follow them. They sent an email to them after the fact saying, hey, we fixed their issue. They actually confirmed with me that the penalty has been removed, but they wouldn't confirm on record anything else. So John Mueller was asked about this in a video on Wednesday, I believe, or Thursday, I think Wednesday. I wrote about it yesterday, where basically he said Google doesn't give special treatment even though they invest in them. And he basically said, and let me give some quotes. I'll try to paraphrase. Basically, he said most of the time the manual actions teams themselves do not know that this person or this company invested in this website. They might not even know what the website's about. They just know it has unnatural links. They don't give any preferential treatment, he said, and so forth. He said in many cases the fast reconsideration requests are only because they did an unbelievable, awesome job cleaning up the issue, the unnatural links, and 2, they went ahead and submitted a very detailed reconsider request saying what they did before, what they did to clean it up, and what they actually see now. And because of that, you could actually get a fast reconsideration request processed. And that's why, at least maybe he implied in Thumbtack's case, that's why they saw their penalty reverse very, very quickly. And I do know in Thumbtack's take, they actually have the ability to know which sites are linking to them because it was actually tracked in their database because of the credits they gave. So they probably just went ahead and emailed those people specifically saying stop linking to us or no follow them, which they did. I have a record of that. And maybe they actually disavowed certain types of links. So maybe that was the issue and maybe they actually took care of it fairly quickly. And again, Google says they don't give preferential treatment and Google actually even penalized themselves for months and months. But since we're talking about reconsideration requests, here's another documented case of the dreaded reconsideration request. There's 3 types of reconsideration requests. We covered this in the past. Let me just open up in the window and show it to you. The first one is, and this is from an old one, you do not have a manual action, which now doesn't have to be the case. You have to show up in the manual actions area, you have to have a manual action. 2 is You do have a manual action, but Google removed it after you filed a reconsideration request. Again, that no longer applies. And 3, you have a manual action against your site, but you still do because there's still issues with your site. Or 4, the dreaded one, is when it's saying it's being processed. You get a response saying we're still processing it. That means Google has to look into it in more detail. And we saw a case of a slightly different one where John explains that this is basically the process case where it could be you improve things but it's not fully improved, or they have to look into it deeper. So there's definitely different cases. This is the reconsideration request you do not want. This morning, John Mueller did a hangout, and somebody asked him, I'm a white hat SEO, I'm fighting in a black hat spam area niche. How am I supposed to compete? What are you guys doing to help? And John basically said, we don't just throw our hands up. We don't let them just go ahead and fight it out in the niche they're in. We actually go ahead and do try to take action in certain cases. They have, and he didn't say this, but they do have a special algorithm devoted for the spammy niches. We call it the payday loan algorithm. Google calls it the web spam algorithm. And he also said that sometimes it's tricky to take manual actions because if everybody's doing something and it's just everybody's doing it and there's no real content else outside of that area, then it's hard to necessarily take manual action. It's very tricky. I'm not exactly sure what that meant, but you definitely want to take a look at the video where he discusses that topic. Big news this week from Bing. Bing said they're actually encrypting, starting this summer, all of their search traffic, so it's all going to go over HTTPS, and with that, not provided will go ahead and spike. Now, I remember when Bing announced this several months ago, saying, don't worry, we're going to keep SEOs and SEMs top of mind. We're not going to go ahead and do anything that's rash. Well, they did not keep SEOs and SEMs top of mind. They're going to go ahead and not provide the search query data for SEOs and SEMs starting in the summer. So that's pretty sad, but that's the trend things are going, obviously. Google's Gary from Google basically said that, a little public service announcement, don't add the no index directive to your body text. Even if it's in your body text, your header, it doesn't make a difference where it is on your page. Google might, and other search engines might go ahead and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and not index your page because it's in source code. Google's breadcrumb documentation was actually updated this week. So the new breadcrumb, where you can actually define your breadcrumb thing, was updated. And part of that, Gary said, do not expect the hyperlinks that used to show up in the breadcrumbs. You can click on the hyperlinks to show back, to come back in. There was some type of exploit that Google never fixed. They just dropped the hyperlinks, and I'm not seeing that coming back. Google also added quote one box answers. So if you want to do a search for, I don't know, Edison quotes or George Bush quotes or Obama quotes or any famous person quotes, Google's going to go ahead and show you the quote right in the search results. And they're not going to actually cite where it came from. And a lot of people are upset with this. Obviously, the sites that actually are built on quotes is fairly upset about this, but it is what it is, and this is the trend that's happening. Google has refreshed and changed the Google Cache information page. So if you go to Google Cache result now, what you'll see is a little cleaner version over here, where you'll see full version, text-only version, and the view source. And you click on those, it would actually give you that information. And it's obviously a little cleaner. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. So now, this is a pretty cool Google Maps feature. The Google Maps Android app was updated. If you actually do a search for a place to get driving directions to it, and if Google detects that the place will be closed before you actually arrive, it's going to say, hey, your destination may be closed by the time you arrive. Here are the hours. Here's your estimated time of arrival. Do you still want to go there? And this is obviously important for business owners to make sure you have the proper times on your Google Maps listing, or else Google's going to tell people to go away. Google has added another way for you to get stars, review stars to your AdWords ads. And now all you have to do is actually add your location extensions to your AdWords ads, and automatically Google's going to go ahead and show, hopefully, your reviews, if you have good reviews, on your AdWords listing. So Google AdWords has announced that they have a new deadline coming up, the upgraded URLs, which is going to replace the destination URLs in your AdWords listing. It's going away July 1st. They're actually starting to auto-upgrade everybody in the next couple weeks. So if you haven't upgraded yourself manually, Google will upgrade you to the new upgraded URLs. And we talked about this in a while. If you want to learn more about it, we have a post on June 17th at SEOroundtable.com. Google AdWords editor, Google's no longer going to support older versions of the Google AdWords editor. They upgraded to AdWords Editor 11, now up to 11.1, and starting on June 30th, anything in 10.x and below will no longer be supported by Google. So you definitely want to upgrade sooner than later because the old one's going to stop working. Google AdSense has uploaded a brand new logo. They launched this last night. This is what it looks like. Here's the old one below, but here is the new one. And finally, Google has announced in the past there are more searches done on mobile devices than on desktop in 10 different countries. But they didn't disclose that it was in the UK as well. So we know it's in the US and Japan. Now we also know it's in the UK. And obviously Google also said that there's more YouTube views on mobile devices than on desktop devices these days, which is pretty cool. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz Wiki Recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at SERadio.com. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll speak to you next.